As a kid, I was what some would describe as a whittle scaredy baby. Basically, I was afraid of a lot of stuff. Scary movies? Nope. Roller coasters? That weird Yeti thing that would randomly attack you at the end of the old PC game Ski Free? Absolutely not. Having a lot of fears made life harder as a kid. I would get picked on, sure, but just the general bad feeling of being afraid, mixed with being held back from doing things I might really enjoy, was probably the worst part. So today, I thought I might talk about a few of the things I was afraid of as a kid that were a little annoying to me. Nowadays, you see animatronics a lot in media, and they're supposed to be really scary, but you don't see them that much in real life. When I was a child, animatronics were everywhere, and they weren't supposed to be scary. They were supposed to be your friends, your dead-eyed, uncanny valley moves and talks even though it has no soul friend. These heartless machines could be found in arcades, rides, and even jungle-themed restaurants. You may have heard of a little place called Rainforest Cafe. If you haven't been to a Rainforest Cafe, this is basically how it goes. It lures you in with its nice exterior and cute mascots and gift shop, and then they sit you down in a quaint rainforest-themed room surrounded by animatronic animals. At first, these animals are your best friends. The gorillas are laughing, the elephants are playing in the river, nobody's upset, nobody has murder in their eyes. But then, this happens. I found this video of a poor kid being terrified by the animatronics and sounds of Rainforest Cafe. And according to the comments, a lot of you were also just as afraid as I was as a kid. Which I guess just begs the question, why? Why do this Rainforest Cafe? Why torment so many children with your unhinged army of mechanical monsters? The worst part is, this thunderstorm happens like every 15 minutes, so good luck enjoying your dino nuggets. I grew up in a time when war and terrorism was talked about a lot, but I don't remember being too freaked out about that kind of stuff. Despite all the crazy things that happened when I was a kid, what I really remember getting to me was the 2006 CBS drama TV show Jericho. I don't remember much about this show. You probably don't either. I know it wasn't popular, it was canceled after like one season. In fact, I've only ever watched one episode when I was a kid, but that was enough. You see, Jericho was a show about a group of people trying to survive during a nuclear disaster, and in one episode, the main character describes in gruesome detail what happens to a person when they're exposed to nuclear fallout, and my stupid little kid brain was terrified. Thankfully, I was able to remind myself that there's no nuclear war happening and that everything's fine. That wasn't until a few days later when I saw a news story that said, nuclear war is super scary and definitely maybe gonna happen soon. And that was it. I developed an anxiety about nuclear warfare. Now, this was a tough fear to have as a kid because unlike being afraid of something like spiders or heights where you can just avoid what you're afraid of, I sort of just had a constant generalized dread that bombs were gonna start falling. I remember one time there was a construction site nearby that made a loud crash sound and I just freaked out. I thought it was over. You think your grandpa had it tough because he served in Vietnam? Try making it through the slightly louder than normal construction site noise of 2003. This wasn't a very fun time in my life. I think this fear just kind of gradually went away when I went long enough without entering into a nuclear apocalypse. And I'm glad that it did. This one might take a little explaining. When I was growing up, it was one of my few sworn solemn responsibilities to feed our 3 dogs that lived in our backyard. This involved going down some stairs to the entrance of our garage, going through our garage to get some scoops of dog food, then proceeding to the backyard to fill our dogs' food bowls. The problem for me was the door that led into the garage. Once the door was opened, you had to cross through the dark garageways before getting to the first light switch. What I was afraid of was that when I opened the door to our dark garage, that someone would be there waiting for me, standing in the darkness just out of sight. This fear was so intense that I remember at times just standing there holding my hand over the doorknob for minutes, trying to psych myself up so I could turn the handle. Honestly though, it's no mystery why I had developed this fear. Not too long before all of this, when we were out of town, someone had tried to break into our house. They had made their way into our garage and had kicked in one of the doors trying to get inside our house. The very same door I had developed a fear of opening. I guess that when I had heard and seen what happened, it sort of shattered whatever safety bubble I felt at home. This fear bothered me for a while as a kid, probably longer than it should have. But eventually I got over it. I got over a lot of fears I had as a kid, but I gained some new fears as I became an adult too. Something I now know that I didn't know then is that since a very young age, I've been suffering from generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, and OCD. And although everyone has weird childhood fears, looking back knowing what I know now, a lot of these things make a lot more sense. And it's nice having a name for these things so that I can use medication and lifestyle choices to counteract them. So what was the point of this video? I don't know. I guess if you're an anxious kid or an anxious adult, just know that things will work out and don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know if you had any weird fears as a kid and maybe I'll feature them in a future video. Also watch some of my other videos. They're really good. Bye.